the ultimate forms of dog training. They are the result of countless hours of hard work, grounded in the respect and trust between dog and trainer.
Not many of us need our dogs to jump through hoops or climb ladders, but all of us want our dogs to be part of our daily lives, inside and outside the home. And that means we want our dogs happy and healthy, and well-versed in the basics like Tango here. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how to care for your new dog and how to teach him basic commands so he can go almost anywhere you do, like the best friend he is. Proper care and training begins with you, because you have to train yourself to be a responsible dog owner, keeping your dog healthy and happy. It starts even before you bring your puppy home. Your house should be a safe, secure place for a dog. A good way to start is by making sure your home is dog-proofed, just as if you were bringing a new baby home. Are there any exposed wires, for example, that a curious puppy could chew? If so, cover them over or make them inaccessible. What about household chemicals and cleaning solutions? Put them away where your dog can't reach them. Make sure garbage and trash cans are securely covered or kept behind closed doors. You'll need to make a visit to a pet supply store, of course, for food, spill-proof dishes, collars, leads, a better crate for your puppy, and don't forget toys. They'll help keep him occupied and out of trouble, and give him something to chew on besides your furniture. You might also want to invest in a folding gate or some other kind of barrier to encourage your puppy or even an older dog to stay only in certain safe areas of the house. Probably the most important first step is to get expert advice from a veterinarian.
New dog owners ask me lots of questions about feeding, health care, and training. They want to get off to a good start with their puppy, a sign of commitment and responsible dog ownership. Vaccinations are at the top of their list. Depending on when you brought your puppy home, it may already have received its first shot in a series designed to protect it against 5 canine diseases. The puppy should be fully protected by the time it is 3 or 4 months old. Then it's ready to be around other dogs. Make sure a booster shot is administered every year. A rabies vaccination is also essential. Rabies is a serious and deadly disease, and proof of vaccination is required in most states for licensing your dog. The first rabies shot is usually given at about 6 months of age. Ask your vet how often it needs to be updated. Usually yearly, sometimes every 3 years. He or she can also tell you if other types of vaccinations are needed where you live, for kennel cough, for example, or certain types of gastrointestinal diseases. Rely on your vet just as you would on your own doctor. He or she can help you work out a comprehensive health care plan for your dog and discuss any special concerns for your breed. In case you ever need to give your dog medication at home, here's some advice. If it's a liquid, ask your vet if you can just add it to the food. If not, use a syringe or a spoon to gently pour the liquid into the fold of the dog's lip, like this. Now, pills are a little harder to give. Take the pill in one hand, pry open the jaw with the other, and place the pill as far back on the tongue as possible. Then hold the mouth shut, nose tilted slightly upward, until the dog swallows the pill. Sometimes massaging the throat also helps. One of the items every dog should have is a crate. The reasons are simple. First, most dogs appreciate having their own space, somewhere quiet and safe. Second, a crate comes in handy when your dog needs to be home alone. It keeps him protected and out of trouble. And third, a crate is indispensable for housebreaking. No den animal wants to soil its home, so the crate will teach control. Using a crate for housebreaking is more efficient than the traditional newspaper method, since your dog never really has a chance to relieve himself indoors. Leave the puppy in the crate when you can't be around to provide supervision, but take him outside at regular intervals, after a nap or a meal, or as soon as you return home from work. He should quickly learn that outdoors is the place to go. When you take him outdoors and he does the right thing, make sure to praise him, a basic part of any training. And never punish your dog if you discover a mistake indoors after the fact. He won't understand the punishment and could even learn to mistrust or fear you. Choosing the right diet is another obvious but no less important element of good health. Most commercial puppy and adult dog foods are fine, as long as they offer a well-balanced mix of nutrients. Stick with well-known brands or ask your vet for an opinion on a new type of food. It shouldn't matter whether you feed a dry, semi-moist, or canned dog food. While some dogs prefer canned food, some vets feel that dry food is better for dental health. Now, how often should you feed your dog? For very young puppies, 3 times a day is usual. After 4 to 6 months, you can cut back to 2 larger meals each day. When your dog is mature, a year or older, 1 meal a day should be fine. And no matter how tempting, try not to give your dog table scraps or handouts at mealtime.
Basic dog care goes beyond medical attention and stocking the right supplies. Proper grooming is important too. Grooming keeps your dog's coat healthy and for many people is an opportunity for them to spend a few quiet moments with their dog. If you have a short-haired breed, all you need are a few minutes once or twice a week with a comb and a brush. For dogs with longer coats, more time is needed to keep the coat clean and free of mats. You might want to bring your dog to a professional groomer every 6 weeks or so for a thorough grooming and do light maintenance work in between.
Regular grooming helps stimulate the natural oils that give your dog's coat its protective and insulating qualities. That's why bathing should be avoided, unless the dog clearly needs it because he's dirty or has a flea or tick problem. When you do bathe your dog, use a shampoo especially developed for pets, or in a pinch, the mildest baby shampoo you can find. Brush the coat out first to remove loose hair and surface dirt. Professional groomers usually place a bit of cotton in each ear before they wet the coat. As you bathe, start at the head and work your way back along the body. Leave a ring of shampoo around the dog's neck. This prevents fleas from escaping to the head and ears. Rinse the coat thoroughly, then wrap your dog in an absorbent towel to soak up the excess moisture. The sun, or a gentle stream of warm air, not hot, from a blow dryer, will finish the job. And what if your dog has been sprayed by a skunk? Tomato juice, poured right onto the coat, will get rid of some of that smell, but only time will erase the lingering odor. Throw out the collar and anything else your dog was wearing when it was sprayed. You'd be surprised by how long the smell can hang on to those items and torment you. Being a responsible dog owner also means being a good neighbor. Never let your dog run loose. For one thing, loose dogs can cause a lot of damage to your neighbor's property. And even worse, your dog may be hit by a car and be injured or killed. Your neighbors and your dog deserve better.
Away from home, your dog should always be on a leash and under your control. In a few minutes, you'll be learning some basic training exercises that accomplish just that. When you're home and want to let your dog out to exercise, don't invite temptation. Make sure your yard is fenced. And make sure your dog is wearing some form of identification, like a tag or tattoo. Thousands of dogs are reported missing each year simply because their owners neglected these basic steps. Don't let your dog become a sad statistic.
One statistic of concern to the American Kennel Club is the number of homeless dogs that are euthanized each year. Some have been abandoned or mistreated by their owners. Others are from unwanted litters. What many of them share in common is the fact that they're the product of irresponsible dog ownership. If you've gotten a dog as a pet and family companion, and not for competition in the show ring, the most important thing you can do as a responsible dog owner is to have your dog spayed or neutered. This common procedure is performed on dogs as young as 6 months of age, before they reach full sexual maturity. Besides helping to reduce the number of unwanted puppies, spaying or neutering has important health benefits too. In female dogs, it can significantly reduce the chance of certain life-threatening cancers. In males too. Spaying or neutering should be one of the first things you discuss with your veterinarian. It's an important component of an overall plan that helps keep your dog healthy, happy, and ready to learn. That's the reward of responsible dog ownership. A dog who's healthy and well-behaved will make a welcome addition to any family.
Any dog can be trained, even yours. It really doesn't matter how old or young, what breed, or how big or small your dog is. While some may learn more easily than others, any dog can learn basic obedience.
Let's try that again. About turn, pull your dog's knee.
When do you start? Well, serious training shouldn't be attempted until your dog is 6 to 8 months old. It really won't be able to concentrate before then and may just become confused. But there are a couple of simple steps you can take, even with a youngster. One is getting it used to a collar and lead. Use a light, loose-fitting collar and a thin lead at first, slipping it on and letting the puppy drag it around.
After a few sessions like this, take up the lead and gently encourage your puppy to take a few steps along with you. When he does, show him that doing what you want gets him lots of attention and praise. And remember not to scold your dog if he resists. He won't understand why you're punishing him. Instead, be patient with him and keep trying until he's earned your praise. Another early lesson is an obvious one, teaching your puppy its name.
Sheikah. Sheikah. Here, Sheikah. Sheikah. Tipper. Tipper. Come here. Come on, Tipper. There you go. That's a good boy.
Again, praise him when he responds to his name and comes to you, always reinforcing the connection between the correct response and the resulting praise. Socialization is an essential part of training from puppyhood onward. Make sure your puppy gets used to being around people and other dogs. He'll probably get used to your family on his own, but you'll want to expose him to those outside your home in a non-threatening way. Signing up for obedience classes is one of the best things you can do, since there'll be plenty of people and dogs. Just make sure your puppy has had all his shots before he gets near other dogs.
By the time your dog is 6 to 8 months old, he should be leash broken and should know his name. With continuing socialization, it's time then to begin basic training. The first thing you'll need is one of these, choke collar. It's kind of an unfortunate name, choke collar, because the purpose is definitely not to choke your dog. But used properly, it's the best way to get your dog to understand what you want and what you don't want. Choke collars can be made of chain or nylon. Use nylon for long-haired breeds so the hair won't get caught in the chain links. You can see that the choke collar has a ring at each end. When you slip the chain through one of the rings, it forms a loop. You attach the lead to the other ring like this. Chokes come in different sizes, so be sure you get the right size for your dog. You can find out what the right size is by measuring the largest part of your dog's head here, and then by adding an inch. You can see that it fits pretty loosely. But when I pull on the lead gently, the loop closes up and then releases. While you're training your dog, gentle, quick pulls on the lead will act as a signal to get his attention.
Just like when you introduced a normal collar and lead to your puppy, you should let your dog get used to a choke collar before you begin working with it. slip it on and leave it on for a while. Then add the lead and let him get used to both choke collar and lead together.
That's a nice leash and collar, isn't it? Yes. That's leash and collar.
After repeating this lesson several times, take up the lead and very gently encourage your dog to walk with you using gentle tugs. He'll eventually get the idea, and when he does, praise, praise, praise.
Girl, nice job. Nice job, Summer. Nice, let's go.
Once your dog's used to its training collar, it's time to start serious training, either at home or as part of a class like this one. It's wise to start your training together in a class situation because you'll get a solid foundation in training techniques and you'll strengthen the socialization with other dogs we spoke about earlier. You can find out about obedience classes in your area by checking with local dog clubs and training schools or by asking your veterinarian. Sue Cohn is teaching this class.
The basic commands your dog needs to know to be a good companion and that he will learn in basic class are sit and down and stay and heel and to come when he's called. And these are the foundation that he really needs. The thing I tell my students to remember when they're teaching their dogs is that you have to make it fun for the dog. There's got to be something in this for the dog to want to do. He's got to enjoy it. We use all kinds of things that a dog likes to get him to like his work. Games with you, using toys, using food, special ways of praising him, whether he likes to be roughed up around the ears or he likes to be tickled. Whatever the dog likes, and there will be many things he likes that you can use to teach him to enjoy his work and keep him focused on you. And then you'll get reliability and a happy attitude as well.
Obedience training creates a bond between the owner and the dog. The dog seeks leadership, and when the owner becomes the dog's leader and the dog has someone he's answerable to, and he becomes a happier dog. And obedience training a dog sometimes will make whole bunches of problem behaviors just disappear because the owner is finally taking command of the dog.
A professional trainer for 12 years, Paul Coughlin has taught obedience to over 3,000 dogs and their owners.
To train a dog actually takes patience and consistency. You have to have a lot of patience because it requires a lot of repetition. And you have to be totally consistent with your training so that the dog understands what's expected of them. It's what most people want from their dog, is a dog that will walk on a leash without dragging him around and to come when he's called. I think people get rid of more dogs because they won't come when they're called and won't walk on a leash and for any other reason.
Taking a walk with your dog can be a real drag, literally, if your dog hasn't learned the foundation of all obedience training, heeling. This is the command you should teach first, if for no other reason than to make your time out of doors together more pleasurable. First, some training basics. You always position your dog on your left side, and for a moving exercise like heeling, you always step off with your left leg, the one closest to the dog. When you first start training, always use your dog's name before giving the command. Then moving off as you say heel with a simultaneous light snap on the lead.
Good. Heel. Heel.
You may have to continue with these light snaps at first to encourage your dog to keep up with you.
Good.
Be patient, consistent, and firm, and don't spare the praise, even if you only take a few steps together.
Good puppy. Good heel. Good heel, summertime. Good heel.
Keep each session short for the first few times, say once a day for 10 minutes or so. Then gradually lengthen each session and begin practicing heeling around corners, obstacles, in circles, until your dog is comfortable and staying with you on its own without your having to snap the lead. When you've gotten to this stage, it's time to take the next steps and move on to sit and down. The sit command is built on to heeling. Start by walking with your dog properly heeling. Then stop, give the command, sit, and use your left hand to guide the dog's rear down to a sitting position, while using your other hand on the lead to keep his head up. Ideally, your dog should sit with his shoulders square to your left knee. Keep him sitting for a few moments, then give the heel command and move off again. After a few strides, try sitting once more.
Good. Sit.
It may take a while, but sooner or later, your dog will get the idea that when you stop walking, he should sit. To teach your dog to lie down on command, start with him sitting by your side. Tell the dog down and put it gently into the down position by lifting the front feet off the ground and easing the body down until the dog is in a lying position. This way there is no struggle between the two of you. Make sure your dog remains in this position for a few seconds. Then release and try the command again. Continue until your dog goes down on command without your having to lift it, and will stay quietly until release. After a few days, you should be able to stand straight up and only give one command, down, for your dog to lie at your side.
Leave him.
Stay.
Stay means exactly that, no matter what you do or what's going on around your dog. And he shouldn't move until you tell him to. Start by placing your dog in a sitting position. Give the stay command and the signal for it, your left hand placed in front of the muzzle. Then step away from him, using the stay command again. Don't be afraid to use your hands to keep him in place. And at least for the first few times you try it, don't expect him to stay still for more than a few seconds. But gradually, he should understand what you want and be willing to remain sitting for longer periods of time. When you're able to keep him sitting for at least 3 minutes, using only one stay command, you're ready for the last of our 5 basic commands, the come command.
That was wonderful. Good girl. There you go.
This command is, in some ways, the most important one to teach your dog. For his own safety, he must respond immediately, no matter how attractive or intriguing something else is. Like the sit command, this one, too, is taught from the heel.
Time to heel. Good.
As you walk along, suddenly take a few steps backward, gently snap the lead, and say your dog's name, followed by come. Naturally, he'll turn around to see what's going on. And when he does, continue walking backward while gently snapping the lead and repeating the command.
Good. 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 Come.
At first, all you want is for him to come toward you. The finishing touch is to teach him to sit when he reaches you. As you walk backward and he follows, come to a stop and give the sit command, guiding him into position directly in front of you. By repeating this lesson over and over, your dog will learn to associate come with sitting once he's reached you.
Perfect. Love it.
You want to eventually get him to the point where you can issue the sit and stay commands, walk a few steps away, and call him to you,
There you go.
ending with a full sit directly in front of you. And remember, praise your dog when he does the right thing. You can never praise too much, only too little.
Good training builds a rewarding, lasting relationship between you and your dog, and it opens up a whole new world of activities you can take part in together.
Barry, come on. Come on.
The American Kennel Club has developed the Canine Good Citizen program.
Want to bring the Portuguese water dog up, please? This is going to be your sit for exam.
This program is designed to encourage responsible dog ownership by setting a series of exercises demonstrating that your dog has been trained well enough to be a suitable companion in a variety of situations.
Every dog, if he is worth having, he's worth training. If you ask your dog to sit, you shouldn't have to tell him. If you ask the dog to be quiet, you shouldn't have to repeat it. The dog should understand and be able to do this each time that you ask him to do it. This is walking through a crowd. What I'd like to do is to have you go behind this group of people, and then in front of those people, and then behind those people, and make your way back up here to me. Teaching the dog any of these behaviors is not difficult, but one must work at it. And I think the main objective is to socialize the puppy in the beginning A socialized puppy grows up to be a social dog. A good neighbor, that's what it is. Congratulations.
If you have an AKC-registered purebred dog, you may be interested in competing in any of the thousands of AKC dog shows held around the country each year. Obedience trials and tracking tests are other types of competitions that AKC-registered dogs or dogs with an AKC indefinite listing privilege can enter. AKC hunting tests and field events are also popular forms of competition for AKC-registered dogs. Any dog can bring companionship to people in hospitals and nursing homes by joining neighborhood pet therapy programs. You can find out more about all these activities by contacting the AKC or your local dog club.
The requirement for all these programs, though, is a well-behaved, responsive animal. And that can only come from thorough and sound training. There's another benefit of good training, too. It makes it easier to cure your dog of bad habits he may develop. Serious training reinforces your dog's perception of you as his authority figure, his pack leader, if you will, and he'll respond more quickly to you when you indicate your disapproval of certain behaviors.
Take the dog that jumps up on people, for example. The correction is a fairly simple one. When the dog jumps up, take him by the elbows and gently put him on the ground while saying, "Off." And again, give lots of praise when he does it correctly.
Good job. Smart girl.
Then there's the dog who barks continually. All dogs will bark at times, of course, from excitement or when they feel themselves or their families are being threatened in some way. But barking with no apparent cause shouldn't be tolerated. Sometimes just a firm no will do the trick. If that doesn't work, try filling a tin can with coins or stones and have it handy. When your dog starts barking for no apparent reason, shake the can vigorously. The unpleasant noise will startle him and will reinforce your no, so he'll learn to associate the two. After a while, just the no should do the trick. A well-trained dog can do the most amazing things. Many dog obedience clubs have set up agility course and fly ball competitions. It's like taking your dog to an amusement park. You race against the clock for time and accuracy. These are exciting activities, but not something you should try to teach your dog on your own. With the help of experienced trainers, many people have found that these activities are not only fun for everyone involved, but help dogs build their self-confidence and help owners develop control over their dogs. A trained dog is a happy dog. There's just no denying that. He knows his place. He knows what we expect of him. He also knows what we demand of him. He gets the care he needs, and he knows that he's loved. Training a dog is a big responsibility, and it's up to you.
The American Kennel Club wants you to be a responsible dog owner, and that encompasses all the things we've been talking about during this program. Remember to prepare your home for a dog and have the supplies you'll need on hand. Socialize your dog, getting him used to being around people and other dogs, and make sure he understands the rules of the household, starting with housebreaking. Regular visits to the vet are a must, and by teaching your dog the 5 basic commands, heel, sit, down, stay, and come, you'll be able to share your life to the fullest and get the most out of the years you spend together. After all, what are best friends for?
You can learn more about caring for and training your dog by reading American Kennel Club Dog Care and Training, published by Howell Bookhouse. Look for it at your local bookstore or contact the American Kennel Club at this address.